You don't have to be perfect in order to be loved or valued. Coming back from work, I honestly felt like crap. I felt like crap actually this whole day. And it's outside of the fact that I didn't really sleep much. I don't think that actually matters. I think it was more about the crippling feeling of, well, am I doing enough? That's the thought that keeps coming up. Am I really going as hard as I possibly can? Am I doing the best? And these thoughts that continually come up, and with the way that my mind is wired, I have a very clear vision of what things should look like. So whenever things don't look the way I want them to look, I automatically start to invalidate it. This is the mind at work. So I'm constantly envisioning perfection all the time. And because I'm envisioning perfection, any imperfection, though it be natural, is automatically seen as less than. That, oh, you're not doing good enough. That, oh, you're not really going as hard as you possibly can. I'm only going to do this because I'm not even going to post the previous video, because I feel like I was talking a little bit too much. I've been up since 4 a.m. Cool, big whoop. I have been fasting since 12 a.m. So about 17 hours, because I broke my fast at 5 p.m. Okay, big whoop. I am a teacher, so I go to work, and I've been there. Actually, I got to work early today as well. But for me, early is on time. And that's part of me that I've changed manually. Okay, big whoop. I've been working my tail off since last night, the night before that, and the entirety of today. Because if anybody tells you anything, teaching middle schoolers definitely burns a lot of calories. Okay, big whoop. And this is what my mind is saying. Big whoop, big whoop, big whoop. It's never an acknowledgement of the things that I've already done in my life. But it's always a, well, you didn't do this as well as you possibly could have. You didn't do this the way that it was supposed to be done. There's always a problem with the way that something is done. And that is a representation of, number one, the way that I see myself, and also the type of environment that I've grown up in, where my errors and my faults have constantly been highlighted. The errors and the ways that the mind plays tricks on you is truly beyond all understanding at times, because it's like, dang, bro, do you not like me that much? You know what I mean? Like, how did you come to a point in disliking me so much to really find every single error that I've been able to make, that I've been able to see? But it's not just about, that's not the mind saying it doesn't like you. It's more about, this is just how your brain is wired, and it has to be taught how to be used. I'm very, very good at seeing a vision and bringing it to pass. However, it becomes a detriment because the mind that I possess also can harm me in ways that no one else possibly can. All that to say is that beware of what you believe. And you also need to have your mind be renewed. And just to put it in perspective, me, Christ is my King. And I will consistently say that for all the time that you guys see me on this platform. I don't care. Now, here's the thing, right? Christ lived a perfect life. This is the literal, this is the God of heaven coming down to earth to live a human life so that he can be free from sin, something that we did to ourselves. So he could break the hold of sin over us. He lived in perfection. The standard, the high standard of perfection, he lived it, and not only did he live it, he fulfilled it in its entirety. All the laws, every single thing was followed. He died for our own transgressions by fulfilling something new, a new covenant, a covenant of love, and gave that to us. But not just any kind of love. It's an unconditional love, a love that allows us to be who we are. And yet here I am trying to hold on to some form of perfection that, number one, I'm not even worthy of being a part of, because I don't have the capacity to be perfect in the first place. The price that was paid for it, it's impossible for me to pay that. But he did that for me. It's not to say that, you should just take it easy. That's not what I'm saying. You should absolutely go hard. You should be ruthless in your endeavors and everything that you do in this life. Don't just chalk it up to not being perfect, but the purpose of that sacrifice was to give us grace. And by grace, we are allowed to grow. We're allowed to become more. Instead of succumbing ourselves to the same patterns that do not befit us, because we're not living in accordance. Ooh, that's a big speed bump. Because we're not living in accordance to the laws that have been set against us. It's almost like it's an insult, honestly, if I really think about it. Because who am I to try and aim for perfection, try to be perfect, when it's already been paid for? I'm not here to be perfect. And the striving for that perfection without allowing myself the opportunity to mess up and continue to move forward and be better, it's like I'm taking the sacrifice that Jesus paid and I'm not even using it. So what was the point if I was going to do all of that? You know? What was the point of going through all the effort of living this life so that we could have something more if we weren't going to use it? We got grace so we could grow. So we don't have to confine ourselves to the same patterns of trying and failing and realizing that you didn't do the best that you possibly could, and then eternally screwing yourself over because you're consistently haunted by the thought of you not doing what was supposed to be done. What would be the purpose in that sacrifice? And in the same way, even if you don't believe, I ask you this question. What would be the purpose in you going through all the effort of work? I'm going to stop because that thing is beeping. Oh, this brother is very close to me. I don't know, why are you looking at me? What would be the purpose in going through all the effort of becoming the person that you are right here and right now if you were not going to forgive yourself for the things that you've done wrong? Like, do you think yourself to be so high and mighty that you can't make a mistake? Or to be so good that you can't make a mistake? We all mess up. But the mind is where we really need to focus on, because we're still in, like, I was still interpreting my mess ups, my failures, as a sin that could not be forgiven, as though I wasn't aiming or striving for better. And I was constantly holding myself hostage to a standard that I was never going to meet in the first place. Yeah, I could do all the work. I'm going crazy. I only got 2.5 hours of sleep, fasting, teaching, about to go and train. And yet I can still see myself as not doing enough. This is my thought process. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, who I am doesn't really matter. But it's a simple fact that we all share this journey. And some of us have more similarities than others. So for those of you that have the similarities that I do, or that we share these similarities, that our struggles are proportional to each other, I hope that you find value out of my message and know that the mind that we have is not, you shouldn't be listening to it all the time. Because objectively speaking, I am working pretty hard. But it's just not seen as such because I'm looking at the objective, this is the highest potential. Comparison is the thief of joy. I'm over here trying to compare myself to David Goggins getting tied up and thrown into a lake and telling him to survive, and then also surviving 36 hours of Hell Week. That's not reasonable because I'm not him and he's not me. In this journey of becoming, because I know I've been very long-winded at this point. In this journey of becoming, my prayer for you is that may you be your only standard that you compare yourself against. May every shadow of turning that decides to rear its ugly head at you be casted away with the light that God has shined forth against you. So that every day you wake up and then you see yourself to be better than you were the day before. Not in terms of what you have produced, but simply off the fact that you are still pushing the needle and you're still doing hard things, that you're still getting to it, that you're still being disciplined, that you're still showing up. Let that be your confirmation of knowing that you are indeed good enough. Because you are. And you've always been. No matter where you started, the fact of the matter is that you started. Even if it's just a word, let that word be your word. In Jesus' name. All right, I have a bit of a time.